Warning: this episode contains material that may trigger some people with physical assault history. If that makes you uncomfortable, please decide if you wish to proceed before listening. Thank you. I still have it. For some reason, I still have it all these years later. I keep it in the small red box it came in when I bought it, and it's under my bed. Sometimes I'll come across it when I'm cleaning, forgetting it's there, and start sobbing. I'm talking, of course, about the bird whistle. Hi, I'm Mavis Salmon. I'm autistic, I love birds, and I hate my dead father. This is a podcast about that.
I've been working so much lately when I'm home I feel like a stranger in a foreign country where I can't speak the language. You've unemployment, minor crimes and plans to get the hell out. I'm gonna fuck the police in my town. Their beautiful broken down house. Wa-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. The last couple of weeks I know you've been having trouble breathing and maybe truthfully trouble with most things, but don't you worry if the pipes freeze and the power goes out. But it's big friends who are cold in the dark for a beautiful broken down house. Da 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 da, 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 da da da.
One of the things my father used to love to do, despite his hatred of my feathered friends, was go camping. We camped a lot when I was little, but the camping experience I remember the clearest was the redwoods. It was gorgeous, and we camped in a small, man-made clearing purely for camping. I think I was about 14 when we went to the redwoods, and I remember getting up earlier than my parents simply so I could go bird watching. And I kept a detailed journal with all of the new birds I saw there. There was a little country store about a half-hour bike ride from my campsite, and in it they sold all sorts of trinkets and mementos, walking sticks and shit like that. So, of course, I was ecstatic when I discovered the bird whistle there. See, I can't whistle. I've never been able to whistle. It's just something I'm incapable of mastering even on a basic level. So, for me to be able to communicate with birds in some way, on their wavelength, heck yes, I was interested. It cost me a whole week's allowance, but I didn't care. I was overjoyed. I couldn't communicate with other people, but who cares? Because now I could communicate with birds. See, I had a lot of trouble talking to anyone growing up. I'm not one of those autistic kids who could totally talk to adults, but not my own peer group. No, I was relatively non-verbal towards anyone as a child, but I spent a good portion of my time reciting bird calls because I liked the sounds they made. It was auditory sensory heaven. So now I had a tool specifically designed to speak to birds. And then, while biking back to my campsite, my front tire started to leak, and I had to stop pedaling. While I was looking at it, seeing if I could make it back on or not, a car pulled up to me, and this guy, who must have been in his 30s, got out and asked me if I needed any help. See, because I needed a lot of help as a kid, mostly in school, I looked to adults for guidance. I was told I was special needs and couldn't handle anything on my own, so I figured it'd be fine to ask this completely random stranger for help. So I took him up on his offer. I started to inspect my bike, and after a bit decided he could put it in his trunk and drive me back to my campsite. For some reason, I decided this wasn't a great idea, getting into a stranger's car. He didn't take that particularly well, and just started to try to force me into his car, and I realized I was in a lot of danger. I thought quick and used my bird whistle to call for help. which made him nervous, but he didn't stop. I kept blowing on it until he let go of me and I took off, leaving my bike behind, running into the woods. I hid for a bit, and when he finally got in his car and left, I went back for my bike and, crying, rode back to my campsite. I never told my parents about this potential sexual assault, and when we got home, I hid my bird whistle under my bed, where it still sits to this day. On one hand, it probably saved me, but in a way, the experience had tainted it, and I knew I'd never be able to use it happily again. To this day, I don't like to be touched, especially without warning. I remember once, very soon after that, I was in school and a teacher came up behind me and put their hand on my shoulder, and I completely freaked out and started sobbing and trying to run away. So, yeah, I'm pretty non-physical these days. It's bullshit that people can ruin things you love so dearly. It didn't ruin birds for me, no. My father tried to do that enough as it was, but it ruined my bird whistle, and it took years before I felt confident enough to start bird calling again without a whistle. I also haven't ridden a bike since then. So, that's this week's episode. Tune in next week and I promise I won't be so miserable. Thanks for listening, and remember, birds of a feather analyze trauma together.
Some friends and I were talking in the front room of my old house. Inoffensive interactions, waning interest headed south. When a white-crowned sparrow found the feeder by the window. I've seen rarer birds since then, but the sparrow's still around. Still around, still around. I pace around a lot like I don't know where I should stand. What's your head like on the inside? Would you care to